From CRI Simple Numbers, this is Profitability Playbook, the Simple Numbers Podcast, a podcast for those championing market growth and anchoring the nation's economy, small businesses, and entrepreneurs.
Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Simple Numbers Profitability Playbook Podcast. I'm Mike Maxson, that's Brandon Gray, and we are here with a special guest, but I'll get to him in a second. Brandon, before we get going, I know you have some things to say.
All right, it's a big announcement. This is one of those that's we mentioned it, I believe, a little bit, kind of teased it on the last episode, but this is a historic announcement, all right? The first ever Simple Number Summit. It's here. So if you want to go out to the website, simplenumbersummit.com, it's got all of the information on it. It's going to take place November 9th through 11th in Austin, Texas. Got a great location set up there. Already signed the contract on it. We're ready to go, rocking and rolling. The first day, we've got a little registration kind of deal going on, reception thing. All day the second day, half day on the 11th. The original gangster of Simple Numbers himself, Greg Crabtree, is going to be obviously a keynote. We've got several other folks lined up as speakers, industry experts, breakout sessions to where you get an opportunity to be in some smaller groups and it be more of a conversation versus a presentation. We've got some dinners planned for some folks. We've got an opportunity to attend a special breakfast with Greg Crabtree where you can pick his brain. Sponsorship opportunities. So if you want to connect with entrepreneurs, we've got plenty of those available to you. And all of that can be found at simplenumbersummit.com. You can register today. Go ahead and register. All that information's there. I would say if you are a Simple Numbers client, then more information will be coming to you about the summit. You'll get some emails about that. That will include a discount code. And so just an advantage of being an existing Simple Numbers client. So, man, we want to pack that place out. So tell your friends, tell your colleagues, other entrepreneurs you may know. It's going to be a really strong conference. We're really excited about it. Been a ton of planning's already went into it. And it's just great to be able to announce it and finally see something we've talked about for years turn into reality.
Yeah, and you get to meet yours truly. So in case anyone's...
Okay, half the folks just decided not to join.
Sweet. All right. Well, that's exciting. I can't wait. I know I'll be there. I don't see why I wouldn't be, but unless they fire me between now and then, these podcasts always put me at risk every week. So you never know. But hey, let's get this started. So welcome, Shawn Byrne with My Biz Niche. Love that name.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. Shawn, why don't you go ahead and tell us a little bit about your business?
Well, first, full service marketing agency. We started about 10 years ago. We've serviced all kinds of industries. We have some focuses on our marketing efforts through like home services, law firms. So e-commerce is one of them as well. But we work with all types of businesses from large to small. We have small mom and pops to enterprise level companies.
Sweet. How many current team members do you have?
Changes, I think we're around 60 or a little over 60.
Nice.
I know we're high.
And so when it comes to marketing, and by the way, I know Shawn, everybody. So I'm only asking these questions so I can probably be like, man, Mike, you have him on here. You don't need these questions, but to get you to say to you. So when you say full service, so you cover the whole thing from start to finish, strategy, actually delivering the marketing content. Tell us a little bit about those services.
Well, just to give a little background, when I started out, it was just search marketing and websites we started building. And I started realizing, like, I started ranking the sites. They started getting a lot of traffic. They're getting a lot of calls, and they didn't know how to close the calls, and their messaging was poor. And I was like, man, I have to write their copy too and help them with that piece. So then it started when we started writing their messaging and helping them with their brand. And it was like, oh, that rolls over into advertising. And we just started adding all these different services. So now we can take it from start to finish. So we have like a naming workshop we walk them through, create their logo, create them a brand platform, and then create all their creative assets for their messaging, write their copy, help establish them in the market. And then we move them into like the visibility channel. So visibility is all your advertising. Once you have all your creative and your messaging, then you want to put it out there. So then we start picking each one of those channels. If it's search marketing, that's going to perform the best for them, or social, direct mail, traditional media like TV, radio, billboards, anything. Like we take them through that, and then we look at all their data and analyze what's working, what messaging is resonating the most, and reiterate that process and keep going through that cycle and just continuously improving on their marketing campaign.
Sweet. Hey, I think Brandon would agree. I think one of the things, and we've talked about it on this podcast enough, like marketing has been a difficult thing for entrepreneurs. I don't know, Brandon, probably last 2 years, maybe 12, 18 months in that ballpark.
Yeah, I'd say probably about the past 24 or so. It's and the last year in particular has been challenging for a lot of people.
Yeah, where have you, well, give us a state of the current, like the current state of marketing as you see it. We have AI disruptions. There's a lot of different channels, all those things. What do you feel the current state of marketing is?
Current state of marketing with the AI, I feel like everybody thinks it's going to solve all their problems and take care of it and speed everything up and lower production costs. And there is some truth to it. But you're still going to need experts to work those tools. I think it's an efficiency tool right now, not a full automation tool that it just solves everything and does everything for you. It does make mistakes still. I see it constantly, especially like if you projections, running anything through financials, I see AI making mistakes on all that. I always have to double check and look through it, and it still calculates wrong. So that's why having you guys is a lot better than AI. It's the same thing in marketing. I think where things are going, AI has really disrupted the search marketing platform, like anything search wise, because that's what people go to find information. So it's really changed the environment there. The other thing that's happening is a lot of the media is getting fragmented. Like before, even if you go back a couple decades, like traditional media was heavily used. Even before that, it was like the only platform until digital came in. Well, now traditional media is getting fragmented, and you get like HBO Max, you have Netflix, you have all these different like video on demand type services that run ads, taking people online to just stream. And so they're losing market share there. And same thing with social media. It was just Facebook. And now you have all these different platforms that have these active users on them, and they pick a platform. Like they're either on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube Shorts, like, and there's demographics on there, and each one of them consume the format differently. And so with that said, I see a lot of fragmented media, and you have to get yourself out there on different channels and find where your demographic is, what messaging is resonating. Or if you have a wide range of demographic, make sure you're targeting and messaging for each one of those platforms and keeping it more diverse. So I feel like social and like more of that advertising piece on social, your brand out there is going to start taking over in the future more and more and being more important.
Yeah, so I think like that sounds complex to me. Like, how do you know if so I'm not a marketing person, and so how do I show up to you? And I'm like, man, I don't know if like Instagram would work for me or TikTok would work. How do you even figure that stuff out?
Well, I try to think about it. I try to break it down simply. When you're in a service-based business, that's a need. Like, my car broke, I need a mechanic. Like I'm getting sued, lawyer, or I need to find a lawyer. Like if you need to find somebody and it's important and urgent, you don't know where to look, people go to search marketing. So that's needs. And then when you have a product that's a want, more e-com based, like and nobody really knows about it, they're not out there searching for it, or in your very saturated market, social media is a better platform, because like when you're on social media and you're streaming, it's got to be an irresistible offer that you see and you're like, holy crap, I want that. That looks cool. So those are your wants. And that's kind of how I break it down a little bit. And then it all depends on industry. If you're B2B, B2C, it gets pretty complicated. And then that's why you kind of need an agency that's not just like cookie cutter where everybody fits in a box and you get this package served up to you, because it's different. Your costs are different. Your brand's different for everything. And you need a custom strategy to like shape that to start getting that market penetration. So
I'm hearing you talk about this, and me and Brandon, when we were putting together our strategic questionnaire for our clients when they come on board on a planning session, and you might remember this, Shawn, but one of the questions is do you have an in-house marketing person? And it's real random. And people have asked me like, hey, why do you guys do that? And it's stuff like that right there that we think about, because we'll have people go, oh, I hired they're maybe a $2 million business. I hired a marketing manager. And next thing you know, they're all over the place with their marketing. Like you said, they don't even know if they have to be on TikTok. They're randomly on Instagram. They randomly run some Google ads. There's websites. So how do you communicate to the entrepreneur when it comes to like your benefits of working with a company like yourself versus an in-house marketing person? And we're talking small business here, because obviously you get into the big ones where they have your whole company in their company. But what do you say to those small business people who are like, try to just wing it?
It's one of the reasons why I started the marketing agency, because I worked for some VCs and I was the IT guy. So I started in IT and I was learning marketing like at night. And then I would apply it and launch stuff and use my own money and waste it and try to figure out how, like, just what works and what doesn't work. Um, and we went through a lot of people. We kept hiring people. We thought they were good, or they were really smart and they could regurgitate information, but they couldn't execute. So, and then we found out, like, if you hire a marketing manager or a marketing director, they're used to delegating. They don't know every channel and how to execute on it, or they'll be really smart on these platforms, but not on these platforms. So it's really difficult to find that unicorn that really knows everything. And working with an agency, like a strategic creative agency that has multiple facets, they can get like what we do is go through a discovery call, see where you're at, what revenue are you doing, what's your cost, what's your margin, what are you spending now on marketing, percentage to revenue, are you spending enough, are you spending too much, or do you not have enough margin really to advertise? And then we strategically figure out, based on where they're at, how to start carving out that market share from there. And instead of having one individual, you're going to have multiple people that are expert in each one of those platforms and know which ones perform better than the next. So then we can choose, like, hey, we think search marketing is going to be the fastest way we can start earning market share and creating a profit for you off advertising and getting you that return you need. And then once we grow that, we can take some of that spend and that profit and move it into another channel and build it up. And then you start propping your business up on multiple revenue streams, like multiple legs to prop up the business. So you're not dependent on referrals or just one revenue channel, which creates instability. Mm-hmm. So it's much more beneficial when you're smaller. It frustrates me when I see a marketing director with a small company and they're paying a high salary when they could take that and actually apply it to an agency and actually use some of that for advertising and management. So I think it's better to go with an agency in the beginning to build up until you're bigger and you can hire that staff and still outsource and you scale to an in-house team.
So Shawn, I got a question. I guess there's a theme that we see in the marketplace right now is that the market isn't growing, and in order to grow, you have to steal market share. So what are your thoughts around, from a marketing perspective, things that entrepreneurs can do to help them steal market share from their competitors?
So when you start out, you're usually the technician, and then you turn into the entrepreneur. You have a skill set, you're fulfilling that service, and then you grow into that role. And what happens, you start that money, you get that traction, you start building up your revenue. One thing that's missed, you're like, I need a website. So you throw up a website, you hire somebody, you throw up something, you have it out there, and you kind of treat it like a brochure. And what happens is your messaging gets neglected. What makes you unique? What are your unique selling position? Like, what are your benefit statements? And so your messaging is what's going to differentiate you and what makes you stand out. And that always gets missed. And that's the most leverage you can create. And so when you start advertising and doing anything to earn more market share, if it's through traditional media, social media, search marketing, and you're paying for that traffic, having stronger messaging that gets them to make a buying decision is going to create that leverage. And here's some good examples. So like I had a company come in and they were spending $5,000 a month for 5 years. They're doing $500,000 a year. And they didn't know where their marketing budget was going. They didn't really understand how much of their spend was going to advertising, how much was going to the agency that was managing it. And that transparency wasn't there. When we inherited the account, that same $5,000, we updated the landing pages, updated the messaging. We doubled their conversions. It went from 5% to 10%. in a month. So they doubled the amount of leads they were getting. And then the next month we made some more edits and it doubled again. And then the next month we made more edits and it doubled again. And we took that company from doing 500 to 2 million on the same advertising budget. And we've done that multiple times with garage door companies, insurance companies, different industries. And it was all just based on their messaging and getting out there, because that's what's going to differentiate you. And that's what's going to hook them in. They have to know you. That's the advertising piece. They got to like you, like your messaging, your branding, your website, your assets, your creative. And then you got to build that trust. You have to be like, all right, this all sounds good, but is it full of shit? So you have to have testimonial videos. You have to have things that build trust, being on podcasts, being an expert, writing a book, anything that can build that credibility.
And by the way, Shawn and I didn't talk before the podcast today, but I love what he's saying there about messaging and the importance of it, because it almost sounds to some degree what you say is almost more important than where you say it at. And I see just with a lot of folks, that's one area that, like I said, it's really neglected. They're on all these channels, they're putting out all this content and what have you, but they're not communicating why they are the best solution or why they have the best product.
Yeah.
And, to the buyer, they don't know the difference between you and the person who doesn't.
Yep. And a lot of times you can figure out what your messaging is just on the sales process. Like, why are people choosing you? What are you saying to them? And what do they say back to you when they make that buying decision? And sometimes it's right there and they have something unique that they're saying and it's not on their website. It's not in their assets. And you're like, why aren't you telling everybody else? You're just telling one-to-one. When you're advertising, you're telling a bunch of people. You're not saying the same thing that you would tell in your sales process. And that really can lift a company up.
Good stuff.
So Shawn, do you typically see businesses, and I'm sure it's a combination, but I'm just going to blanket to start the conversation. Do you see businesses underinvesting in marketing, overinvesting, spending the right amount? They just don't have a clue where to spend it.
Usually underinvesting and then no clue where to spend it.
I figured it would be something like that.
It's never really overspending. It's usually those two. Underspending, I see a lot. They'll have some ambitious goals. And like, if you just do simple math and you break it down, like you're like, all right, I want to do 2 million. I have a 1% marketing budget right now. Like, they don't even know the percentage they're spending to their revenue and where they should be at versus their competitors. And their competitors could be spending 5 to 8 and sometimes 10%. And so when you have such a small budget that you're putting in there and you have these high expectations, it doesn't equate. So if you break it down, you're like, okay, if I'm only spending 20 grand a year, that's not going to get me to where I need to be based on my cost per lead, my cost per acquisition, and how much I'm spending. So I actually need to spend more. And that's how we break it down. So through our discovery call, that's why we ask certain questions. So we could do that math for them and then either break the bad news based on their revenue and where they want to be and where they're at. And eventually they could probably grow to that. But this is more realistic of where we're at, and we need more budget. So you need to figure out how to cut some costs if you don't have any budget. And so you can start putting into advertising to start scaling. And then it's always scary because what if it doesn't work? I'm wasting money. And then that frustration comes out. But that's, every business has gone through it. It's marketing, it's advertising. If it was easy, like, babies would do it. So
do you see, like, we've said it before, just talking about ourselves, that people are like over digitized? Do you see traditional forms, and maybe not traditional, maybe I would say archaic, I don't even know what the word is, but people going back to, or at least coming to you for marketing help? We talked about it before, even with your own company, is going to conferences, flyers, postcards, some sort of marketing at that level. Because we always talk about it like, man, I get beat to death with like emails, ads, stuff like that. I mean, I buy a lot of knives off TikTok. That's probably my biggest issue. But after that, right now I'm more apt to read something that came in my mailbox because I barely get any mail versus just another email?
Yeah. It all depends on like who you're targeting. But like one thing that I think is sometimes you can find a channel where your competitors are not saturating, and it may not be the largest audience. It may just be maybe 100,000 people if you're a B2C. You could buy that channel because it's not saturated and you're going to be the only one standing out to that audience, and you can resonate. And then it can be an old platform. It could be sometimes even cold calling. Cold calling still works. Direct mail still works. Like newspaper still works. All these things still work if you have the right messaging, and people will try it. And I've experienced this multiple times. I've heard people tell me, I've been through 3 agencies. We tried this. It doesn't work in my industry. And I'm like, well, I have a strategy and I have an idea. Like, let me do it. If you trust me, you're referred to me, like, let's do it. And one client, he swore this channel did not work. And we started making his phones ring so much that his warehouse started having to answer phones. And he was like, I think this is a fluke. He's like, this is not real. Let's turn it off. And I'm like, why? I'm like, this is the only thing that's changed. Why turn it off?
Yeah, right.
He's like, no, we're going to turn it off. And I don't think this is you guys. And we turned it off and everything went silent. And then we turned it back on and then his phone started ringing. And now he went from doing 1 million. And I think this year he did 10 million. He's been with us for 4 years. Like, sometimes even those channels that you thought failed, it wasn't the right messaging, the right strategy to approach it, because each one of them works. They're all making money. They're all still in business.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, again, what you're saying and how you're saying. So it's important.
Shawn, would you say that there's a channel or a methodology or a strategy, whatever it may be right now, that's kind of hot? For years it was online, it was digital search. That's what it was all about and what have you. Obviously, with disruptions taking place in the industry, that's changing. So what seems to be working right now?
Right now, again, it all depends on your industry, but search marketing is still strong to build a business off of through SEO, like organic and PPC. AI has reduced some of that search volume and like ate up some market share, but it's a small percentage to the lion's share that Google owns. And they're still into AI. So anybody using Google AI is still on that platform. So I still feel like that's pretty strong. And then social ads is strong. Something that's unique that nobody really thinks about is like the old school direct mail or going door to door or putting flyers. You have a flyer, and if you're a home service company, if you're servicing this house, put those flyers in the surrounding neighbor's mailbox. That works really well. Or putting a business card in a little bag with a rock in it and throwing it out on the driveway. Like all these little things that are super cheap to get your awareness out there and have a little special and offer and be like, hey, we serviced your neighbor, and throw it out there. It's insanely cheap. I know a company that's doing 50 million and 70% of their leads come off that little baggie with a business card in it. And like,
we should start doing that, Brandon.
Today. But it's like, there's all kinds of things that can be done that still work and that are effective. But like nothing's really shook up the industry like AI, but it's not like a game changer yet. Like it's informational. Some people ask who's the best company, what's the best product and things like that. There's opportunity there, but it hasn't taken over the market, but it is definitely the hottest topic there is in marketing. Every summit, everybody's talking about AI. It's everywhere. And you have to be extremely careful about all these gimmicky, like we automated your whole marketing process, or this software will solve everything. Like you have to be careful because a lot of those it's not going to solve your problems. It's not going to explode your business tremendously. You still need somebody behind it operating that tool and still being strategic and creative with your business.
Sweet. Well, Brandon, before we go, you have anything else for Shawn?
I guess last question. And of course, this could vary quite a bit, but if you're a company that is looking at marketing and we're looking at marketing return with them and what have you, and it's just not working right now, what advice would you give them? Do they need to look at changing agencies? Do they need to spend more? Perhaps. I know I'm not giving you a lot of data here to answer this question, but it's because we're seeing a lot of folks right now. They're just going, it's not working. We're turning it off completely, as opposed to moving it to something else. So what are the options they have?
Well, an option to turn it off completely is like the worst option. Like during COVID, the clients that turned off their marketing all went out of business. The clients that doubled down exploded. It's never turning it off. Marketing is a trial and error process. And if you don't feel like your team has your back, they're not responsive, they're not giving you good ideas, because part of being a marketing agency is giving the business owner good ideas. And even if that owner thinks it's a crap idea, and maybe it spurs off another idea, like that sounds dumb, but this gave me another idea. They have to be doing that kind of stuff. And if they're not working hard for you and you don't feel like you have somebody that's smart and articulate and responsive, then you should be switching agencies. But if they're doing all those things, they're active, they're proactive, they want to solve the problem, they're being engaged, they're putting more effort into it, and they know it's not working, and they're trying different things through trial and error, because sometimes something can work in one market and it can't work for another, or it's working for this brand down the street in this company and they're killing it and they're not spending that much. Well, they have a different brand, they have a different reputation. There's a lot of other things that are set up for them. And you just have to keep pushing and find out what works for your company. And so it's all trial and error. It's never like this. Everybody wants it like this, but we all know as business owners, it's just not. It's not that easy. So that'd be my advice, is you just got to keep testing. And if you're spending too much and wasting too much money and it's hurting that bottom line, we'll scale it back. Try to master one channel, not multiple channels. Do a smaller budget, find the success on that channel of what's working, what message is working, and then push it and build off that, and then step into another channel. And usually it comes down to messaging. Can't stress it enough. Your website is the hub of everything for marketing. No matter what you do, if you get a referral, people go to your website. If they hear about you on the radio, the TV, through social, through search, they're going to your website. So if your website's not set up to convert that visitor and solve their problem or show that you can, you're going to lose them right there. So that's usually where the problem lies constantly, because everybody thinks about it as like, oh, I just need a website. Oh, I need a social media channel. I was told I need to be on social media. So we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have TikTok. Like everybody has a website. So it shows credibility. I have a website, and you don't even know what it says. You have stock photos like that. Those are problems. Like that's marketing and sales are so tied together. You can't do anything in your business until you sell something. Sell something if nobody knows about you.
Well, Shawn, we appreciate you, man. Tell everyone how to get a hold of you should they need some marketing help.
Well, you can go to mybusiness.com. So it's MYBIZNICHE.com. You can email me at Shawn@mybusiness.com, or that'd probably be the best way if you go to the website and just give us a call.
Okay. Sweet. Too easy. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. Well, Brandon, bring it home, man.
Great stuff, Shawn. Appreciate you coming on today and sharing with us. Like you mentioned, if there was one takeaway from today, one nugget, messaging is the most leverageable component of marketing. You get everything else right and mess up messaging, it's not going to work, and vice versa. And so I think that's worth the 20 minutes you guys spent with us today. And don't forget about the Simple Numbers Summit. Go to simplenumbersummit.com and register. It is limited. We didn't rent out the
Texas Stadium.
Yeah, I couldn't think of the name. Doak Campbell Stadium. I couldn't think of it. Isn't it Doak Campbell? Isn't that the name of the Texas Stadium?
No, I was thinking AT&T for the Cowboys. That's all. Yeah.
Well, we're in Austin. So we didn't rent that out at the university. So there is limit. It is limited. So go there and make sure that you reserve your spot.
Awesome. Well, all right, everybody. We appreciate you for Brandon and Shawn. I'm Mike, and we'll all catch y'all next week.
If you want to know more about driving sustainable profitability for your business, or are interested in learning more about CRI Simple Numbers, please visit our website at simplenumberscri.com. Thanks for listening to this episode of Profitability Playbook, the Simple Numbers Podcast. You can subscribe to Profitability Playbook on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you prefer to listen to podcasts. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a review. This podcast is brought to you by CRI Simple Numbers LLC, a division of CRI Capital Group LLC, and a subsidiary of CRI Advisors LLC. CRI is the trusted brand under which Carr, Riggs & Ingram LLC, the CPA firm, and CRI Advisors LLC, along with its subsidiaries, deliver professional services. Please note, Carr, Riggs & Ingram LLC is a licensed independent CPA firm offering attest services, whereas CRI Advisors LLC and its subsidiaries specialize in providing tax and business consulting services. These entities operate within an alternative practice structure as defined by the AICPA Code of Professional Conduct and comply fully with applicable laws, regulations, and professional standards. Ready to simplify your business finances and drive growth? Explore valuable resources, books, and tools designed for entrepreneurs and small businesses at simplenumberscri.com.